Welcome back, Shockwave Kids, to Church at Home, where we're currently doing a couple of bonus episodes to our Garden of Gethsemane series. This past midweek's time together, we looked at doubt and how, even though we don't see Jesus and God physically, we still can have faith and believe and see evidence that He's here with us. And we're continuing that thought today with the idea that God is always with us. See, all throughout the Bible, God promises again and again that we don't have to worry. And the reason why? Because He's with us. See, like for example, in Joshua 1:9, God tells Joshua,
"Be strong and courageous.
Do not be frightened or dismayed." Oh no! And the reason why? For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Again and again, God made this promise. You don't have to worry or be fearful because I'm with you. And then in Isaiah 7:14, God made a prophecy that somebody special was coming. And Isaiah the prophet said, "A virgin will be with child and bear a son, and she will call his name Emmanuel." And Emmanuel means God with us. Who he was prophesying and speaking of was Jesus. That Jesus was coming one day to be God walking amongst us, putting His arms around us. Let's play a game. It's going to be a game called What's Missing. I'm here in just a moment. I'm going to let you get a good look at all of the objects here behind me. And then I'm going to cover the image up for a moment and take an object out and then see if you can figure out what is missing. If you don't have somebody to play it with you, grab them, pull them in, say, come here and watch this with me. Play this game with me and see who can figure out what's missing. Are you ready? I'm going to step out of the scene to where you can get a good look at everything. And so in 3, 2, 1, what is missing? Do you see it? Yeah, it was a plug here. That was a pretty easy one. But let's try another one. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. What's missing? Anybody? Did you get it? It was the guitar case. That was sitting right here. Let's do another one. 3, 2, 1. What's missing? You probably got that one pretty easily. It was the monkey hanging out back here. Okay, are you ready? 3, 2, 1. What's missing? Well, this one might have been a little tougher. I'm not quite sure, but it was the marker board on this side. Let's see. Let's do a couple of more. 3, 2, 1. What's missing? If you said it was a bundle of cables, right here, you got a good eye. And a final one. 3, 2, 1. What's missing? If you said the green trash can back here in the corner, I'm truly impressed. Let's do one final one. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. What's missing? Now, if you had trouble with this one, that would be because there's nothing missing. It's hard to find something missing that's not actually missing. Everything was still there. And see, if you really start to look for Jesus, it can actually be kind of hard to miss Him because He's really not missing. Back in the pioneer days, whenever Europeans were first moving to this land called America, the land was very rough. There was rocks and trees everywhere, just stuff all over the place, like all this stuff behind me. And see, there were these trailblazers, is what they called them, that would go ahead of people that were moving out west, and they would move aside all the stuff in the way. They'd move the rocks aside and cut trees down if they had to, and make a path, make a way. And then they would come back, and the people that wanted to move out west, they would go with them side by side and lead them down the path that they had made. Now, in Hebrews 12, 1 through 2, the Bible says, "And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." In other words, let's keep at it, keep going, the way that God has laid out for us to live our lives. And fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. See, Jesus is the pioneer of our faith. He'll make a way where there's... Did y'all see who did this? That's odd. But see, Jesus will make a way where there seems to be no way in the difficult places of our life. And if we'll let him, he'll walk side by side, right alongside of us as we're going through this. In Psalm 139, 7 through 10, the psalmist makes an amazing observation about God. He says, "Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, or if I settle on the far side of the sea." See, the psalmist was saying no matter where we go, God is there. He's there walking with us. It's like, for example, no matter where we go, if we were to go up onto the snowy caps of the Alp Mountains, oh, the blistering hot deserts, oh, float through outer space. No matter where we go and where we find ourselves at, God is there with us. And the psalmist goes on to say something else amazing. In verse 10, he says, "Even there, wherever there may be, your hand, God, guides me. Your right hand will hold me fast." He's there to help us no matter where we're at. Let's check in with Nick, the garden keeper of Gethsemane, one last time and see what he's gotten up to after Jesus' resurrection.
Oh, how you doing, kids? It's wonderful to see you. I'm so glad I bumped into you. Had to come back one last time and take a look at the old tomb. Yeah. What was Joseph of Arimathea's tomb that he was carving out for his family, it became the tomb for Yeshua, Jesus' body. But he didn't need it for very long, because a little less than 3 days later, he came back out and rose from the dead. And it's been amazing around Jerusalem for the last few days now. See, people, they're seeing Jesus. He's appearing to them and walking with them, and it's absolutely amazing. One of the craziest stories, there were a couple of disciples that were headed on their way down to Emmaus on the Sunday that Jesus rose from the dead. And they were walking along whenever this stranger came up and began to walk with them. The stranger was actually Jesus, but they didn't realize. And the stranger asked them, "So what's been going on?" And they looked at him like, "Where have you been? Are you deaf? Or have you just not heard?" It's a talk all around Jerusalem. The rabbi that everybody loves so much. We thought he was the Messiah. We thought he was the one that was going to save us. They took him and crucified him and they buried him. But then today, earlier this morning, he rose from the dead. And a couple of Marys, they went to see him, and they said the body was gone, and then an angel spoke to them and said, "He's not here. He's risen from the dead." And so a couple of disciples went, and they said, "Yeah, the body isn't there anymore, but we had to get to Emmaus. We had business, so we unfortunately had to leave town before finding out all that is happening." And but the stranger looked at him and began to say, "But don't you understand? the Old Testament, the prophecies, they said this is what would have to happen to the Messiah, that he would have to suffer and die, but he would come back to life again. And he began to take them all throughout every book of the Bible, showing them how Yeshua, Jesus, appeared in it, and how it foretold what was going to happen to them. And their minds were blown. And so they came to where they were going to stay the night, and the stranger was beginning to head on. Remember, the stranger is Jesus. And they asked the stranger to come in and spend the night with them. And the stranger is, I've got to head on. But they kept persisting and asking, please, we want to hear more. Your teaching is amazing. And so finally they talked him into staying. And as they were breaking bread over supper, sat down to eat supper, they asked the stranger to bless the food. And so he held the bread up and he broke it and blessed it. And they had seen that blessing before. They had heard it with their ears, and they realized, it's Jesus! And in that moment, he vanished right before their eyes. He was gone. So they had to hurry back to tell us here in Jerusalem. But I've been spending time with the disciples and learning more about Jesus. And I even got to meet him myself. It was absolutely amazing. And all the anger that I had toward the religious leaders, he's helped me to deal with it and to walk through it. And all the fear I had about going out and living life, that I've been staying all these years in this garden, he's helped me to walk through it, and he's walked with me and helped me to find joy and peace. And, I've got to go tell others. I'll come back from time to time and see my petunias and flowers and such, but I've got so much life to live, especially now that I know that he's going to walk with me beside it. He really is Emmanuel, God with us. But, I've got to go. But y'all have a wonderful day, and remember, Jesus, he's always with us. Bye!
You know, there's a lot of things in life that I believe in that I haven't seen with my own eyes. For example, the pyramids of Egypt, or that the earth is circular, that it's a globe, and there's some weird fish in the depths of the ocean that I haven't ever... Yeah, and y'all can stay down there in the depths of the ocean. But, why do I believe in them? Well, there's a few reasons. One is that, I've seen people that have seen them. But the best reason to believe is not based on what other people say, but to experience it yourself. And that's the best way to learn that Jesus really is there walking side by side. God promises many times that whenever we truly seek him with all of our heart, he'll be found. And I've been amazed time and time again how I see God walking with me through the things of this life. But even on Jesus' last day on earth, physically, here as a person before he went to heaven to be at the right hand of God the Father, he gathered all of his disciples together on a hillside, and he reminded them, even though you're about to see me go away, I'm going to fly up into the sky and go away. Remember, I'm coming back one day the same way. But most of all, remember, I will be with you. I'll never leave you or forsake you, even to the very end of the world. I'm going to walk with you in this life. We're going to talk a bit more about that event at our midweek time this week. But for now, remember, Jesus will walk with you through whatever you're going through in this life. Well, it's brought us to the end of our time together. If you've enjoyed this time, be sure to like it and to share it with other people so that we can let other people know about what we're doing here at Shockwave Kids. Also, if you don't already have an adult doing this with you, make sure to get them. Say, come here, do this with me. You can go to gcogkids.com, download some resources to have a fun, easy devotional time together on this topic. And also, we're calling this hashtag Reignite the Fire of the Home Altar. But God bless. Y'all have a wonderful day. And we'll see you again real soon.